approaching different people on social media platforms. Now, straight away, I had to jump in there because I just couldn't contain myself regarding actually just selling to people directly, going into their DMs or tagging them in something. I'm super against that, and the reason I'm super against that is because it's quite, not being harsh, but it's quite lazy. The reason why it's quite lazy is because you're not taking that time to get to know that person. I appreciate that some sales margins are really, really tight. And so it's a bit like, well, I've got to spend this time wooing this person when actually, you know, realistically, I could be working at McDonald's and earning more. And I totally get that. But the thing is that over time, it speeds up the process. You get more efficient. You use the information that you've got to speed up the process with other people. So it's worth investing this time. I was talking to somebody this morning and I said the amount of information you can get when you talk to your customers, your ideal customers, that's, you know, if you've targeted somebody as your ideal customer, you thought, yeah, you're definitely the right person for me, then, you know, this is a great opportunity to see whether or not they agree. If they don't agree, why don't they agree? What are their priorities? Where do you fit in those priorities? The opportunities go on and on. Companies, large companies, which are really detached from their ideal customers, can spend thousands upon thousands of pounds finding this information out. And you can get this for free by just taking the time to talk to these people. I know it takes time. I know it takes effort, but you will be rewarded because you will understand your ideal customer more. Not only that, but when you're selling to that person, you will be able to sell to that individual person, because some of their needs will be unique. You'll be able to sell to that individual person really, really well because you'll understand them. The problem with jumping into people's DMs, I actually have a copy and paste job that I send to people. Not all the time, but some people when I feel the need to help them, or I feel that they've aggravated me in some way, then I'll pop that into the reply. And it basically goes along the lines of, this is a lazy way to sell. You haven't got to know me. You haven't got to understand me. You don't actually know if your product is right for me. And I think particularly on the Facebook platform, you know, that's that and Instagram are the platforms that I am most familiar with. It's definitely it's a social platform. So what I want you to do is I want you to think about the different platforms in different ways. So Facebook and Twitter, but it's more of a social thing. It's more of a social sharing. Particularly with Facebook, it's like a dinner party. You know, it's like you're around people, some people you know, some people you don't know quite so well. You're sharing stories, you're sharing experiences. To start selling at a dinner party would be quite distasteful. Okay. Now, on the other hand, you have LinkedIn. Now, LinkedIn is like a networking event. Okay. People are there and they're very upfront with the fact that they're there to make connections, to make business connections. Okay. It's a lot more palatable to sell to people. People expect to hear about your business in more detail. They expect you to see what their needs are and see if your business meets their needs or not. You know, I think I feel like Twitter is a little bit more of a people sharing information, people sharing comments. So it's a bit more like you're all kind of like sat on a bus or something and you've all bonded a bit and you're all just kind of, you know, making the odd bit of comment. Then somebody gets on that, you know, and you're chatting to them. That's the idea that I have around Twitter. But yeah, I'm sure Gwen can shed more light on that. But if you're thinking about those situations, and in Instagram is a sharing of, you know, there's nice pictures, it's a visual thing, you know, but people are behind those visual things, people are putting out a message, and that might be, I feel like Instagram, people are trying to be more poignant, and again, there's a few who spend more time on it, may not disagree with me. This is my own perception. And so, you know, you've got that idea that people are looking on there, they're looking at visual things, but people are trying to make points, they're trying to get information across. And so, you know, it's nice, you know, there's sociable channels, even LinkedIn, it's being sociable. It's being sociable with a clear undercurrent of business. But, you know, bear in mind that other channels are social, and a lot of people, I mean, I spoke to somebody this morning who said, oh, I didn't realize until recently that people use their personal profiles for business. You know, that's where we're at. Some people literally using it, they're not seeing it in the same way as us. So it's going to be way too forward to jump in their inbox. So if you can keep that in mind when the way that you approach people on these platforms, it goes a long way to helping you to understand where those people are at. So, you know, tagging people that you think might be appropriate on Twitter, that's a little bit like going, oh, you know, I think you're going to like this. Get to know that person, get to talk to them. You don't have to grab them in a one-to-one situation, but you know, you can comment on their post, you can interact with them that way, you can get to know them that bit more. That's really helpful. I think that when you're looking at Facebook, my biggest tip for generating leads on Facebook would be to put out relevant posts and see who engages with them. So it's a little bit like I talk about fishing when I talk about increasing the size of your pond with the amount of people in there. It comes to actually finding out, to these people, are they interested in what I say? You know, you're putting bait out there and you're seeing their response, you're seeing if they take a nibble. I was going to say you're dipping your rod in the water, but I can imagine. So, you know, make sure that you're putting out information that's relevant to that person, tailored to that group of people that you're trying to build a rapport with, and see who's interested, who's engaging with it, and then, you know, interact with them, take them up on a conversation. You can then drop into DMs, particularly for something more private, and talk to them about whether or not they'd like to have a call. At the end of the day, you're after getting them onto a live call with you, where you can talk through what their needs are and how you might be able to meet them. So that would be my suggestion. I appreciate it can take more time, but actually it's a lot more time efficient to put out a post and interact only with the people that have interacted with it than it is to drop into everyone's DMs. Particularly then you get lazy, you start copying and pasting stuff or putting hey lovely, which I can't stand. So, you know, it keeps it personal. It shows that actually you've taken the time and you genuinely think this could help this person. So that's that.